friends, welcome to my new vlog. Well, it's been quite a week for me. My Auntie Anne has come to visit. She's gone away today to see another relative. So that's, it's been lovely to have her here. I feel, oh, by the way, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Kate. I'm Kate Sanderson. I am an actor. I moved to this house in Essex about a year ago, and my weekly vlogs tend to just be about me doing up my house, what I've been thinking, crafts. It's a different mixture of just stuff I've been getting up to. So my Auntie Anne has been to visit. She's visited me a couple of times, and it's been so nice. And last week in my vlog, I was talking about how when a guest comes to stay, I kind of managed to get everything all sort of tidied up and square. And it's really good because you tend to do stuff you wouldn't do for yourself, which is kind of weird. We're in my middle room, which is very clear now. For a long time, it had stuff all over the floor. So I'm really happy now that that's clearing up. And this week I had some work with Hope UK at the Natural History Museum. It's not the British Museum, the Natural History Museum. So I had a look around the Natural History Museum for the first time in maybe about a year. And so I'm going to put in that footage here. So feeling very lucky to be here. I'm going to the Natural History Museum today for work. And it's lovely to be in Kensington and Chelsea. And the mist is very atmospheric. So I'm at the top of the Natural History Museum in a bit that people don't often come into, the public. And here's where I'm going to be doing my workshops today. And, at lunchtime I'm going to have the chance to look at the museum a bit, which I will take some film of. So just feeling very lucky to be here. I always find this escalator so cool. Oh, there's nowhere like the Natural History Museum. It looks like a theme park or something, that escalator. So apparently this is the most complete Stegosaurus section in existence. It's only missing a part of one leg bone, so that's really amazing. And now I'm going to go up that spooky escalator myself. An amazing big sort of vase. It's got serpents twirling around it. Fantastic. Amazing what people can do. I love the moon. Nice photograph. Seas. Only falling meteorites may disturb this human footprint, stamped onto the moon's dusty surface in July 1969. This surface has seen no other kind of change for 3,000 million years. Oh my goodness. Okay. On the Earth, whole continents have moved, mountains have eroded away, oceans have opened and closed, and great rivers have changed course. Wow. One of the astronauts' moon boots, I guess.
There was spikes.
Old seashells covered with sediment. They feel amazing. Some amazing stuff, Dodo.
Isn't there
Extinct Dodo. Here's another one. Oh dear. I'm sorry, Dodo. I always love this sculpture here at the Natural History Museum. I think these are anatomically, more biologically accurate sculptures. There's seashells here. Are they mollusks? And leaves. Beautiful work. So above me is the big skeleton of a whale. It's amazing. It's incredible to be back in the Natural History Museum after quite a long time, and the whale is stunning. Another beautiful carving of a bird. Oh my goodness, who was this sculptor? They were amazing. Bird, you've got a knowing look. Here's the whale from the other side. It's just stunning. There's its tail up there. Wow. Dinosaurs were reptiles. Dinosaurs lived between 230 and 66 million years ago. Dinosaurs lived on land. Some dinosaurs could fly, some walked on straight legs, tucked underneath their bodies. Okay, I didn't know dinosaurs were reptiles. I sort of thought they were just creatures. So that's good to know that. Ooh. Getting night at the museum vibes here. Wow. Triceratops. And a little one there. Wow.
For the end.
Okay, cool. These are cute. I think this is a saber-toothed tiger, from what I can remember. Oh, and if I go over here, got cuddly woolly mammoth. Very nice. My goodness. I got a friend who was in a Jurassic Park movie. Hats, and then these are really quite amazing looking. Wow. Cornstarch. Wow. So I'm guessing maybe that's not plastic. So maybe it's better for the environment. There's a lovely bright pink one there. This does look as if it would be cuddly, but quite scary. I'm sure many little boys would love this. Wow. I once visited the Crystal Palace dinosaurs. There's a little one there. How much are they? Okay, £15 for the little one and £24 for this one. Ladybug donut. Lovely flaky cakeys. And oh, this says pumpkin Earl Grey and ginger cake. And that looks just like lemon drizzle. That looks lovely. There's an exhibition here about fixing our broken planet, and this little bit is about the single-use plastics in the Thames and how they're in the plastics are in the bodies of fish and crabs. And it says plastic in the Thames, and the wet wipes are the worst culprit. Wow. Gosh. What an amazing building. Lovely garden. Okay, time to go home. Hi again, friends. My goodness, the Natural History Museum is noisy. I appreciate it if you manage to stick with that very noisy footage. Yeah, it's a noisy place. There's continually children yelling, as they should be. They should be excited to be there. I remember that it used to be in the Natural History Museum, they had this big Diplodocus. I think it was called Dippy. And it was so gorgeous. This huge Diplodocus in the big main hall where they now have the whale on the ceiling. They had this big Diplodocus, and it was so kind of night at the museum. And I'll try and put in a few pictures of myself going to see the Diplodocus when it was still there. And a couple of years ago, well, a number of years ago, probably before COVID, the Natural History Museum got rid of the Diplodocus, and they said it was because it was an incomplete skeleton. It was a mixture of different skeletons, male and female, that it actually had some plaster casts, some real bones, and that therefore it wasn't a satisfactory specimen. But apparently the real reason that they put in the whale and got rid of Dippy was because for corporate events they needed a full floor space, and because the Diplodocus took up a lot of the floor space, they could make less money from events. So it's free to get into the Natural History Museum. All those big British museums are free, which is lovely, but I really do miss Dippy. I think she was absolutely wonderful, and it always gave me a kind of shiver down my spine when I saw her. So Dippy, I remember you today, and I don't think she'll ever come back because they need the money from corporate events. But anyway, that's a fact. I didn't expect to see this monument to the SOE. Oh yes, I was once in a movie about this, Spirit of Resistance. Seeing that memorial for SOE really gave me a jolt. The SOE, in case you didn't know, is a shortened version of the name Special Operations Executive, and they were a branch of spies that operated during the Second World War in incredible danger. They have been criticised, their leaders have been criticised for really wasting lives and being very inefficient, but the incredible bravery of SOE agents is amazing. And I played Vera Atkins, who was a recruiter for SOE, and the film was about Noor Inayat Khan, a Muslim princess who worked for SOE and was tragically executed by the Nazis. She was captured and betrayed. When the film was screened, I had the honour of meeting Noor's nephew, and also meeting the daughter of Odette Sansom, who was another SOE female agent who was betrayed and captured and executed by the Nazis, which was really a great honour to meet those people, because what bravery in their families, what we owe their aunts, their relatives. So anyway, when I saw that memorial, anytime I see something about SOE, it gives me a little jump, and I remember when I played Vera Atkins and what an amazing opportunity that was. It's such a pretty shop here. Lots of nice things. The reason I stopped at the Medici Gallery gift shop, which is a beautiful gift shop, and I love it because it brought back another memory for me. When I came to London, I worked for many years in a big retail store, and eventually I got really tired of this and I wanted a more flexible job for my acting. So I trained to be a secretary, and I found basically that being a temporary secretary didn't give me a lot more flexibility, because the agencies just want to put you into a long contract, and then the people whom you're being a secretary for, I found that the agencies just want to put you into a long-term contract, and that the companies that you're being a secretary for do not want you taking time off for auditions or filming or anything. So although I was grateful to learn all the secretarial typing computer skills, because before that I couldn't even look up the internet, can you believe that? That was great. It was not really ultimately what I thought it would be. However, I eventually ended up with this secretarial agency, and they were kind of weird. They would get me to go and be a secretary at places, who then got me to be secretary for other people, and they would charge a great deal of money for my skills, but I was still getting a very basic pay, I think of £70 a day. I mean, it was years ago, but it was just kind of horrible. And then I remember one day they phoned me up in a big flurry and they wanted me to go and be a shop assistant at the Medici Gallery. And I really wasn't very pleased, because I'd done all this training to not work in a shop anymore. And it didn't even seem to cross their mind that I might actually not want to work at Medici Gallery. And I'm quite glad. I think in the end they didn't need me. They got someone else. But I'm kind of glad, because I would like to keep Medici Gallery as a shop and not have it as a memory. Though I'm sure it would have been nice to work there for it was just a couple of days. But I just remember it because I just felt that agency were so pushy, and I mean, they're sharks. They're complete sharks. Anyway, I didn't work there, but whenever I go past it, I remember how when you're an agency employee, you can, sometimes it's lovely and it's very flexible and you can have some nice agents. And then sometimes it's really quite chilling, and the way people just sort of send you about like a package. So anyway, they had lovely stuff in Medici Gallery, though I didn't buy anything there. I was good. It brought up another memory. So I just thought I'd put it in. I would say that this week I'm really feeling a change in the air. I mean, spring is coming, and that's true. But you can really kind of feel it. Yeah, this week there is a palpable change. I feel like the sunshine is kind of catching up on the cold. Although it's still quite cold, it's like spring is winning and winter is kind of receding. So I love the coziness of winter, but I think it will be nice to have spring and to have some hopefully new opportunities and some good things coming along. When my auntie, the other day, as our first kind of day out, we went to Colchester for a look round, and I intended to look at the Natural History Museum there, and I did, and I got some things which I'll show you in a bit. But we also, just on the off chance, went into this amazing gallery called the Minories. If you're a Colchester person, you probably know all about the Minories, but it was it was incredible. There is so much going on there, and it was so beautiful. I hope my little bits of film do justice to the beautiful blossom trees outside, and oh, it was amazing. And we also went into the East Anglian Folk Society, which sounds it doesn't sound as interesting as it was, but I've got footage about that too. And they also did this amazing exhibition about trees in a particular stately home. So I will put that footage in now, and then I will come back to you afterwards, of course, to tell you what I thought and show you what I got. It was a lovely day in Colchester. So here is the Minories. Beautiful flowers at the Minories Art Gallery. It is the most perfect day. There's those beautiful blossom trees. Oh my goodness. I've never been to the Minories before, and it's absolutely stunning. I'm in the Minories gallery. It's so pretty. There's an amazing exhibition about trees, and oh, it's a beautiful building. Wow. It's the blossom outside the window is just stunning. Oh wow. This was a visionary gardener as well. And then here is a rather spooky painting. What's it called? Corona by Claire Canswick. Another lovely window. And then this slightly 70s looking painting. It's just kind of esoteric looking. And it's by, let's see, Lara Cobden Old Bones. Okay, so it's about, I guess, a dead tree. Fantastic. This room has a beautiful fireplace and more amazing images of trees. Oh, trees are amazing. And if I go out here, it's just some beautiful old houses there. And then a very mysterious image of a tree here. These artists have really captured so much beauty. Okay. Yeah, amazing old building out there too. friends. It's very nice just to have a little cup of tea and a little break. It's been so nice to have my auntie visiting. She's coming back this evening. She's just visiting with someone else today. And these are some little leftover bits of cake we had from last night, so I'm probably going to be greedy enough to eat both of them. I loved East Anglian Folklore Society. It was just gorgeous. This is a little print I got there, which I thought is really kind of autumnal, kind of a bit more Halloween-y. Seems to be like a little girl sitting on a dragon and then an owl beside her. So, I mean, maybe this is some folk story that I don't know. It was a folklore society after all, but I just loved the colours and the kind of vibe. I thought it was pretty, and although it's autumnal, you notice there's lots of flowers. And then there's stars and the starry night sky, and this dragon really looks like a bit of a character. So anyway, tea and cake and art. What more can I ask for? Yes, got a little bit cold, despite the fact I've got the heating on. It's a strange day. It's very bright, but kind of still quite cold. Anyway, I loved the East Anglian Folklore Society. I thought it was really, I loved the way they were preserving treasures from the past. Now, a lot of the things, like in the Little Straw Museum, came from a lady called Betty. I can't remember her second name. Yeah, she was a straw dolly expert. She could craft all kinds of things with straw, and she'd also collected antique straw things from other makers. And her daughter, because Betty's passed away now, donated all of this plus the scrapbook to the museum. And Betty, in the scrapbook, you might have seen there was a picture in which she saw this building, and she said, "I'd like this building for the Straw Dolly Museum," which sadly didn't happen. But the East Anglian Folklore Society are hoping that they get a building that they can have their museum in. So I really love the honouring of the past and traditions. And I like the fact things that people made that are beautiful are treasured and kept to inspire others. I don't like, I mean, I know we cannot keep everything in the world, but I don't like it when things are all just thrown in the bin because they've gone sort of out of fashion. Or when, I don't know, when creative things are not respected. I don't like that. So I really enjoyed this. And of course, the slightly spooky vibe of a lot of the things I thought was just gorgeous. It was very up my street. Apparently, the East Anglian Society of Folklore will be at the Minories until the 30th of September this year. So just before Halloween they're going. And then on 1st of October, I think Banksy is coming in with an exhibition in that room. But then after the Banksy exhibition's over, then the East Anglian Folklore Society are going to come in again, unless they get a permanent place elsewhere. But the lady was so lovely. She also talked about maybe getting a bus and having a mobile museum, going to different towns at different times, letting lots of people have the chance to see the folklore museum, which also sounded just lovely. Apparently they've almost been picked for several lottery grants and they didn't get them, so maybe they'll get one eventually. Oh yes, it was a really nice day in Colchester. Let me show you some things that I thrifted. Yeah, we also went into the Natural History Museum. I'd run out of space on my phone to film because I'd wanted to compare the Colchester Natural History Museum with this one, with the big one in London. But what I did do was I got a couple of things. One of them I'm showing you just in a minute, that actually had come from Colchester Castle Museum, and they were selling them off there. Again, I really like that. I don't like things just to get chucked in the bin because they didn't immediately strike people's fancy. I like to use things, and I like them to be passed on. I mean, we probably make far too much merch and too many souvenirs and stuff. To me, a souvenir is like valuable if it reminds you of a lovely time, a lovely day, and it brings that joy into your heart, or if it's a souvenir that's just so beautiful you can't resist it. Yeah, those are both valuable, interesting things, and sometimes old souvenirs give us an outlook on the past and history. Anyway, I'll stop warbling on about this and I'll show you what I thrifted in those shops in Colchester. And I got a bunch of this cardstock paper of like roses and newspaper. It's a little bit harsh, some of the colours, but I think I can use it in my crafting, and it was, I think, a couple of pounds. So I think that was quite a good deal. And then I also in the same shop got for 50p a cross-stitch rose embroidery set. And apparently it's a set you can reuse, though you'd have to get more thread. I mean, it's got thread in it. I'm presuming if you wanted to reuse the pattern, you'd buy more thread, but that's okay. I thought it looked really nice. I also visited the Colchester Natural History Museum, and I got this magnet which actually reads Quo mihi fortuna si no conceditur uti, which means what is the use of fortune if I'm not allowed to enjoy it? Apparently what Horace means is, it's a quote by Horace, there's no point hoarding up wealth or not using your brains or your, I suppose, your good looks or whatever you have going for you. Why have these things if you're not going to use them and appreciate them? Don't just have things sitting in the cupboard, use them. So there you go. I can go on my fridge and it was only 20p. I like the fact they didn't throw it all away and kept it. So when I went into the Minories and saw all these pictures of trees, I kind of thought maybe they were just random lovely pictures of trees, but they're actually from a particular private park called Staverton Park, which has been ongoing since the medieval times. And it's mainly a park of oak trees, ancient oak trees, though apparently there's also some rowan and birch and holly as well. So these artists were just capturing pictures from the oak trees and maybe the other trees of Staverton Park. And it said that apparently the trees every 40 to 60 years in olden days, in like medieval times, they would have limbs removed from them for fuel, for wattle, something, you know, they had uses, and the rest of the oak tree would continue growing. So they kind of preserved the oak trees but took bits off them for use, which oak trees can get so enormous. Maybe that's good, because if trees get too enormous, then maybe they can't all survive. So anyway, it's Staverton Park it's actually private, so I think that means you probably can't go there. I mean, maybe it's in Suffolk, maybe they open 1 or 2 days a year or something. I don't know, but I would say the tree exhibition is beautiful. I'll put in a tiny bit more footage now of that, I think, and it's well worth going to see it. And you know, it's lovely to learn some new things. I've got the definition here. Let's see. Staverton is an Anglo-Saxon word meaning steofar, which is either slaughter or place of staves. So it was a tree centre place. And yeah, it had royal connections, and I think still does. So I'll look it up. Maybe one day I'll get to go there, but it was still amazing to see all the paintings of Staverton Park. The arborealists. Okay. Oh, that's reflected. Here's the lovely buildings again, and then more beautiful trees. This is a wonderful place, the Minories. Here in the garden of the Minories, there's this amazing folly. It's just stunning, just a pretty little building. And then I go around here, and then there's a little seat indented into the hedge, which is lovely. I'll just take a quick film of going into the folly. It's a mixture of kind of ancient Greek and churchy style. So there's a weird sort of couple of faces on the outside and an archway. And then we can go through here. Oops, it's a kind of cobbly bit, and then this is the sort of stage area. And yeah, just an amazing time at the Minories Art Gallery. I am stunned. I will be back here. Having lunch at the Mercury. This is looking very good. Yummy. Just taking a breath of air. This is my garden, and if this lush crop of winter heliotrope was valuable, I'd be very rich right now. It all needs to be removed. It's quite a toxic plant. Well, it's a job for another day. Back inside. So you might be glad to know, friends, that we're coming to the end of the video. I thought I'd do a page in my sort of journaly scrapbook thing about the day in Colchester. And I've done a little plate of the quote from Horace, because Colchester is a Roman city. And then I also put it in Latin as well, and apparently that Quintus Horatius Flaccus, that is the full name for Horace, the poet. So I'll try and arrange these into my a page of my book with some of my junk journaling paper that I bought in the thrift shop, and we'll just see how it looks. Okay, so here I've just first of all done one of these slightly what kind of harsh looking purple rose sheets with newspaper behind it. And now I've put my Horace quotes. What is the use of fortune to me if I'm not allowed to use it in English here? And then the Latin one there. Now I've added a little quote that was from a card at the Mercury Theatre. Let your love of theatre live on. It'll be lovely to do some more theatre this summer. And then another Horace quote that everyone knows called Seize the Day. So maybe just add one more thing. Okay, I've just added a little sign to say Colchester 25th of March 2026 to remind me that that was the day. So all that from that fridge magnet of the Horace quote. Cool. Well, friends, I think that's going to be the end of this vlog. These are my summer candles. If you're a fan of my channel, you might remember I burned these at the end of last summer, and tomorrow is the beginning of British summertime. I mean, it's not exactly the same because I think I burned these at the end of August and now it's just coming into April, but still, I guess I found this winter to be quite difficult, and I'm hoping the summer is going to be kind of a bit more even paced. But they're nice candles, and as you know, I'm someone that likes to kind of mark things. So there we go. Here's to summer 2026. Okay, friends, well, it's a slightly odd ending to the vlog, but I don't think I've got anything else to add for this week. I hope you have a lovely week, and I will see you on my next video. Good night, and let's hope it's a really good summer for everybody.